Hi, my name is Kevin Henry, and welcome to this course on the governance of information security. It's important we understand what governance is. So we're going to take a look at the principles of governance. It's very interesting, however, when we see so many people talk about governance, risk, and compliance, how few of them can really define what that stands for. So let's take a look at this by first of all looking at the definition of security governance, the importance of having a governance framework, what is the difference between governance and management, as well as how to implement a governance structure. Governance itself is defined by this dictionary at Cambridge as the way that organizations or countries are managed at the highest level, and the systems for doing this. We expect our governments to represent us and to look after what is the good of the country. We expect our organizations to have management that will manage and look after the interests of the various stakeholders. This looks at the highest level of strategy planning to ensure the continued success of a country or of an organization. So the purpose of governance is to facilitate effective management. The idea that management in a cost-effective but also in an action-effective manner can manage the organization in an entrepreneurial way, which means we grow, we develop in a natural manner, but also with care, a prudent management style that ensures we understand the risks and threats of today so that we can deliver not only immediate, but much more the long-term success of the organization. This is important. We see that many plans today are very short-sighted, with the result that they very often result in maybe a short-term profit or gain, but not in the long-term success of the organization. So what about corporate governance? Corporate governance is the process and rules under which a company is managed on behalf of shareholders and stakeholders. The difference being shareholders, the owners, and those who have invested in the company, but stakeholders, anybody who could be influenced or affected by the organization. This obviously includes the owners, but also includes the management team, the various users, the customers, the clients, the supply chain, and those that have loaned money to the organization, say as banks and financial institutions, all of the employees that could be affected through improper or ineffective governance. Governance is process, it's rules, it's the way to set up a framework or structure so that things are managed in a consistent manner. This is primarily the responsibility of the board of directors. They are responsible ultimately for applying and maintaining the company's corporate governance structure. What are the characteristics and terms we often use when we talk about governance? Well, it should be prudent. Prudent means I take care. I'm not reckless. That doesn't mean we can't take risks. Certainly we can take risks, and an organization needs to take risks. But those risks should be taken with careful consideration. What is the potential impact, and is this a risk that I should really at this point take? One of the most important parts of this is leadership. The idea that the board of directors is responsible through governance for providing direction for the organization. What direction is this organization going? So that we're able through leadership to show an emphasis on how the business should grow and should develop. It's not that just everybody wanders around wondering what they should do, but leadership is that active involvement, and in many cases pointing and even showing the way to the team. An important part of this is strategy. A huge problem today is that the world changes quickly, and so it's easy to become very involved with short-term tactical and operational thinking. But we need to think strategically. What are the competitors doing? How is the regulatory world changing? What do our customers expect? We've seen this during our generation. Whereas a few years ago, maybe we would be annoyed if we called a person and reached their voicemail. Today, we're disappointed if they don't have voicemail. We expect to be able to communicate with people. And therefore, our customers expect that from us. They expect a rapid response to a request, not the sort of case where we'll get back to you in a day or two. So strategically, we have to understand the forces and the movement of the world so that our organization can respond to those, especially when it comes to business processes and the use of technology. Governance also puts in place rules, something as simple as ethics. Governance puts in place that fabric or structure to make sure people know what is expected and what is certainly not permitted, so that there is a consistent manner of applying proper ethics, behaviors, morals in how the company actually does its job. And of course, it all comes down to action. One of the most important things here is that governance must move beyond theory and turn into the practical steps that people know what to do and how to implement the ideals of governance. We also need reporting. We cannot expect our senior management team to be able to provide good governance and direction if they don't know what's going on. A very important part of supporting governance is through that open and frequent communication, so there is immediate ability to respond to a changing world. This is where we have to remove some of the filters that have become so much a part of business today, where everything is filtered to make things look and sound good. Now, often that's because that's what management wants. They would rather hear something that's good than really hear how things are. But we need to make sure we have effective and open communication, because an organization cannot be able to provide good direction if it doesn't really know where we are.